This fella, he owed me about $1,600. So here we come Christmas Eve. And I go there and he says, nah, come with me, we'll go out, we'll have a good time, we'll party, we'll meet some broads with this, that, and the other thing. I said, no, I would really like the money. I gotta buy something, and he gave me a story, a bull story. So I left there. I was a little bit upset. Got on the bus, went home. I was putting the toys together for the kids, and this thing was really bugging me. It was annoying me. It was just making my whole disposition bad. Thought just occurred to me, this is bullshit.
It was Christmas Eve, after midnight. His family was sleeping. Kuklinski got in his car and drove to New York City.
I went to the bar. They told me he just left and he was parked a couple blocks down in the parking lot. I believe the parking lot was closed, but he was parked in there. I saw his car. His car was running, but it had snow on it. So I knocked on the door, and he said, hey, how are you? Glad to see you. Come on, sit down. So I go walk around the passenger side, sit down, I'm talking to him. I said, look, I really need the money. I said, it's not right. You've just been playing me like a fool here. I had this pistol in my hand, and he just was annoying me to no end with his babbling. And he was just going on and on. And I fired. And I couldn't see a damn thing because there was snow on the windows. And when that flash went off, I just had spots before my eyes. My ears were ringing because the noise inside the car when the gun went off. I couldn't hear, couldn't see. Then I panicked, because now I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I had caught the guy in the temple, and as he moved back, the second shot caught him under the chin. Only about the time I could see, I reached in the man's pocket, and he had a roll of money. I took my $1,600 off him, put the rest of the money of it, that was his, in his pocket, got out of the car, and walked away. And that's what had happened one Christmas Eve in New York City.
The Iceman had killed by gun, by knife, by Molotov cocktail and cyanide. But he also liked to experiment.
Crossbows, I just popped the guy in the forehead with it. Actually, it was just seeing if it would work.
What was he doing at the time?
Looking at me?
Well, was he sitting down, or were you standing over him? Or?
No, he actually bent down to look in the car window like I was asking him directions. I didn't know the man.
Was this a contract murder, or was it something out of anger, or was it a personal thing?
Neither.
What was it?
I just wanted to see if this thing would work.
You mean you're experimenting on somebody?
Right.
Did it work?
It sure did. went halfway into his head.
Kuklinski was always looking for new ways to get away with murder. In the 80s, a man who was nicknamed Mr. Softy teamed up with Kuklinski. This harmless-looking ice cream vendor was in reality an Army-trained demolitions expert who was a violent and vicious killer.
Mr. Softy was an individual by the name of Robert Prongay. He used to operate a Mr. Softy truck. That's why he got the name Mr. Softy. He became friendly with Kuklinski, very friendly with him. And it is our opinion that friendship led to Richard Kuklinski learning a lot about killing with different types of chemicals, including cyanide.
He taught me a lot, basically, but he was extremely crazy. But he would read all kinds of books on destruction and all kinds of ways to destroy somebody. He used to go around this Mr. Softy truck. That's how he used to spot people and get the outlay of the land, you know, where they were and easy ways. And sometimes he'd do it right from the truck.
And he sold ice cream?
Yes, he did. Sold Mr. Softy. He had one of those Mr. Softy trucks. Did you ever see them? That's what he sold.
And he sold ice cream to the little kids in the neighborhood?
Yes, he did. And that's what he did. He'd go into these neighborhoods and sell ice cream to the kids and maybe kill one of their fathers.
On August 9, 1984, Mr. Softy was found dead, hanging out of the driver's side seat in his Mr. Softy ice cream truck. He had been killed by multiple gunshot wounds to the head.
I think Kuklinski killed him because he used him for his information, he used him for his knowledge. He probably brought him with him on certain jobs that he did. And it was time for the boss to make the decision that he didn't want any more loose ends. He may have said something the wrong way to Richie. Who knows? Whatever it was, Kuklinski, in my opinion, made the decision to kill him.
After Prongay's murder, Kuklinski was hired for a dangerous contract no one else would touch. It was here in a crowded discotheque that the cyanide killing techniques learned from Mr. Softy paid off.
Couldn't get to this person. He was in a disco. So I was really in a bad way because there was a time schedule involved. And I happened to be watching these people, and there was a couple of gay people dancing and whatever, and nobody was paying them no mind whatsoever. They were walking anywhere, going anywhere, because people basically don't look at gay people. But the idea came to me, yeah, try to act gay, but how in the hell am I going to get by? A 300-pound gay man. I mean, you know, that's a little bit far-fetched. So I went to the extreme of far-fetched. I got this loudest costume you'd ever want to see on. I mean, I went full-blown gay person. Of course, maybe the other gay people are going to be pissed off at me, but I'm not saying anything bad about them. But I got this canary yellow sweater and these bright pants, and I got these elevated shoes, which I'm tall to begin with. Now I got these thing shoes on, And I acted like a full-blown gay person. I mean, and I got on this thing and I'm doing this like dancing bit, and I get onto this thing and they got these lights, and I hate those lights, by the way, those strobe lights. Man, I hate those lights. You can't see good with them lights, and it messes up my eyes. So anyway, I'm trying to get close to this guy. So I'm doing this crazy thing. I'm acting real swishy. I guess that's what you would call it. And I get up close to this guy. And I bump into him. But everybody's bumping into everybody. And he had a heart attack. Because I had hypothermia, you know. When I bumped into him, I popped him with the needle.
What was in the needle?
In his case, a heart attack.
There was no doubt that Richard Kuklinski was a stone-cold killer, and most people thought that's why he was called the Iceman. But law enforcement had another reason for pinning this name on him. They called him the Iceman because, to confuse the time of death, he would take his victims and put them in a freezer for long periods of time. One such victim was a man named Louis Masgay.
He did too good a job on this body. After leaving the body in a freezer for over 2 years, he then took the body out and dumped it where it was found before it had thawed out. So when the medical examiner does the autopsy and opens the body up, he finds ice inside the body on a warm summer's day. The medical examiner says, there's something wrong here. This guy couldn't have died in the past few days.
After the discovery of the half-frozen body of Louis Masgay, the noose began to tighten around Kuklinski and his boss, Roy DeMeo. Under pressure from law enforcement, DeMeo began to act erratically, and the family felt he was about to crack and testify against them. There was no question in their minds, he had to go. In 1983, DeMeo's body was found in a trunk of a car. He had been shot 5 times and had been dead a week. There were some who thought Kuklinski might be responsible.
Do you know anything about his murder?
Who, DeMeo?
Yeah.
He outlived his usefulness. And he was running the wrong way. Apparently, everybody thought he was going to run to the law.
What did you feel when he was killed? What did you feel about it?
I was all broken up over it. I got a bridge for you, too. I want to sell you.
What?
I got a bridge for you, too. I want to sell you a bridge. I wasn't broken up over him. That was my attempt at levity. But I thought at the time it couldn't happen to a nicer person. If somebody had to die that day, it was a good day for him to die.
Over the next 3 years, the New Jersey Organized Crime Task Force concentrated on closing in on Kuklinski. When Kuklinski began to feel cornered, he started eliminating anyone who could